with it on cash. Like, the consistency, he's done that like 3 times. He did it twice in one match, and now he's done it another time here. Like, things like that.
It's called magic tricks.
Talking about magic tricks, Tricked were the ones that really surprised G2 and took them out, well, beat them early in the competition. And that gets me slightly worried because maybe G2 were overlooking that Danish squad. And as we referenced in the last segment of the show, Shock's interview being interviewed by James is like, I don't think we need to think too much about Hellraisers. We just want to feel like we're good at CS.
I think that's a good segment about potentially Inferno being a weakness in G2. And if that's something that happens each other a couple of times. Actually, if you look at the record between these two lineups, it is right now 2-1 for Hellraisers. Obviously, last LAN outing, it went to the way of G2 as well either, but still, twice online, Hellraisers managed to come out on top in the Pro League. And Inferno was in the pool, as was Overpass as well. So G2 definitely still have Kings and Little Kirks to be working with. It's definitely not a process that is anywhere near to its peak. But at the same time, you know, they're going to have to work for it. And teams like Tricked are going to be able to surprise you here every now and again. And they showed, I think, down the tournament, if we talk about them a little bit, that they can hang with other teams as well. So, I mean, it's definitely... You know, today's Counter-Strike landscape.
Yeah, I think, as Shaq mentioned in the interview, I think he's having the right approach, the whole G2 having the right approach. We heard in one of the interviews before the semi-final that they haven't had the best practice leading up to this tournament. So going in and just like playing on the basics, playing on the strengths that you have, which is Kenny, which is Apex, you know, the intro fracking. Play on that and don't overthink it, you know. I think that's the right approach for G2, considering they haven't had too much practice.
Yeah, I can hear them shouting over there now. It looks like, so by the way, we're backstage and we can see the guys getting ready to go out there. Right now, Smith is, of course, leading them. He is their coach. And I think that's maybe been a very useful part of this new setup that they have. He left the team, retired from the coaching role, and previously these players, when they had played together before, they were often known at times, not of course they weren't characterized completely by this, but they were known at times to have a bit of a hot head. They did always get on and maybe do body, maybe having Smith overlooking them, generally fitting better together as people might be what brings them, I don't know, it might end up giving them the results that they
to this point. In one hand, he knows that all of that team really well, the individuals, you know, and he can easily like kind of detect problems and issues. But at the same time, if you're too much of a friend, that could be an issue as well. You know, when it comes to giving critique, you know, going over things, you know, what kind of an attitude do they have for it? But the good thing is they also analyze the team, and they've told that they're very good at what he does as well. So I think that's a great combination to have a hands-on coach who's overlooking things, who has a very obviously deep professional so he understands all the little things within the game, and then you'll have an analyst who understands like the tactical point of view, who can look at the big picture from behind, and then once those two collaborate, it should definitely be an improvement for this team.
The thing is, I feel like there is so much respect for Smith on this team. The guys, you know, in a way, they compete together for so long, and now he's leading them from behind and he's helping out with everything. And I think definitely your point is 100% correct. But when I see them walking around physically, they look like, you know, he's there part of the guys, and he's not jovial all the time, like joking around. He's like making sure that they are focused and ready to go. And I'm very, very interested to see in this final if it all comes together. Do you think that this puzzle is going to fit perfectly this time, or there needs to be some more work, more research?
I think time will tell. You know, I think they have their right approach. As I said before, like without too much practice, with limited practice, going in and just playing on your strengths, going in like without thinking too much about tactics, thinking too much about your opponent, that can really be useful when you are the more skilled player. So I think
we can hear them working so hard right now. I'm sure that they're giving high fives to everyone. So Pip,
sure. Yeah, I just want to. I really think G2 is getting there. As you said, like classes, and it's going to take a while before we see them on a major winning level team. But I think this will be a great step for them to get there.
Not too any more thoughts on the match. We do have a bit more time to jump into this game.
I mean, what is there, I don't know what else I can add to this, really. We've gone through it pretty well. I think we can maybe talk about Hellraiser a little bit, like, at them and this matchup in general. I think it's an intriguing one. Like I alluded to a little bit previously, there's a lot of similarities in the maps these teams like to play, and maybe even stylistically, we've seen a lot of aggression from G2, especially in that game against Mouse, where we saw Kenny pushing really deep in cash, for example, at A main, all kinds of different stuff. And also, we've seen Hellraisers play surprisingly versatile way of Counter-Strike, especially on T side, because they used to be super one-dimensional, very hit and run, kind of pop flash, go through, run into a bomb site type of a play. But now we've seen them play much more just different kind of styles and methodically just better, basically. So this is going to be sort of a test for them as well. Where do they stand, you know? Because they obviously think themselves that they should be in a final of this kind of a tournament. In the big picture, G2 was probably expected to be there, but so was Na'Vi. And maybe even, you know, some could argue teams like Hero should have been there before Hellraisers, maybe, but they've earned it, and now it's the real deal and see how they fare in this kind of a situation.
Thank you very much, Natu. We will be talking again shortly, but right now we are ready to welcome the players to the stage.
We want to win. That's always the goal.